Hello, welcome, and I hope you are ready for 30 minutes of hopefully good quality sport banter from the All About the Balls team. It's me, Ollie, and Gareth is here too. Buddy, can you hear me okay?
Mate, I'm loud and clear.
Nice. Do you know what's crazy actually is we've just spent the weekend together, but we've still managed to actually forget to record an episode together. Well, so we're dialing in again. But
yes, so we didn't want to break tradition. I mean, yeah. We're seeing each other this weekend actually at the this Friday at the cricket. So I'm being spoilt by your company at the moment.
Mr. Ambassador,
it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
We are one episode away from our anniversary, our first anniversary.
Indeed, yeah. Next week is our anniversary. This is the pre-anniversary dinner.
This is the yeah, exactly. Because I think it's paper, isn't it, for 1 year anniversary? But I think for us, it's like the new 1 year anniversary is the podcast.
Yes, the paper $1 bill. Just
$1.
$1.
Yes, mate. It was a wonderful weekend that we had together with our respective families. Lots of fun, lots of sports chat. But I want to begin this episode with a totally non-sporting related story for you, just to make you chuckle. So this
I'm intrigued.
Yeah,
I'm intrigued.
This happened to me this morning, and I've actually been holding off telling you until now, so I can get an authentic reaction. So I ran from my house to the station, which is about mile and a half, something like that. Not very far away.
Because you were late.
No. Well, not late, but I was just keen and eager to get in. Eager to get to work.
Excellent.
But it's downhill, easy run, running away. There we go. Got on this train, managed to get a seat, which is always a bit of a surprise on the busy commute in. And just as I was, probably about 15 minutes outside of London, I reached for my bottle of sparkling water to grab a drink, feeling quite thirsty. Now, I'd totally forgotten that half an hour ago, I'd been running down to the station with my bottle in my bag, and it was a full bottle. So I opened this up in the middle of a very crowded commuter carriage, and I absolutely soaked the guy next to me. Absolutely. The poor guy is sitting there Monday morning about 7:30. He's got better things to be worried about than, and what made it even funnier. And the thing is, as soon as it happened, I was like, well, this will be brilliant for the pod. I cannot wait. But so as soon as it happened, I looked over, and it didn't just spray him, it sprayed all over his crotch on his pale trousers. I was like, oh, you have got to be kidding me. And I sort of like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I reached into my bag looking for something to try and help him dry himself off with. But all I could find was like an old smelly gym t-shirt that I hadn't changed from the week before. So I pulled that out. And as I pulled out, this waft of just stale air came out of the bag.
God.
Like, I'm so sorry. Please don't hate me.
Did you dab his crotch?
Well, that is where I didn't. I will not exaggerate this story just for the fans. I handed it over to him. But there was that moment where we locked eyes and he's like, don't dry my crotch. Don't dry my crotch. No. This is all you, mate. This is all you.
Did he handle it with aplomb?
To be fair to the gentleman, who I hope I never bump into ever again, he was a star. He's like, don't worry at all. Don't worry at all.
It says a lot. It says a lot about that home, Middle England that you live in, down from the home counties in. Tell you what, you do that in East Croydon, mate, you are getting knifed. So.
So that was how I started my Monday morning, which I thought would tickle you. But yeah, it was. As soon as it happened, I was like, I'm going to save this story for the pod. Fantastic.
Yeah, sparkling story. Sorry.
And with that inane banter, we move on to inane cricket.
Yes.
The Ashes is lost, mate. The Ashes is over.
Ashes.
We'll have some
is going back
over the top here, but it's over. Cricket is not coming home. Cricket is fucking off.
Well, actually, yes, it is.
There's no way around that, but yeah.
Yeah, there's no way around that, but I mean, it's gone. Look, I'm going to try and be fairly diplomatic about it.
Please do.
We, the Australians outplayed England just in almost every facet. Yeah. And why I'm saying we won the one test match out of the four that we've won was by what can only be described as a miracle. And a miracle that probably won't be seen for at least another 20, 30 years in a test match of that level. So, I think, the only caveat you're going to say is that they were one man batting unit. And that batting unit revolves around David Warner.
Did you see that picture during the week that was doing the rounds? It was like, here are things that you will find in Stuart Broad's pocket. And there's like a phone, some car keys, a wallet, and then David Warner.
David Warner has got a British passport. He's going to be in Broad's pocket for so long.
It's reached the point now where when he got out, I think in the second innings, he just laughed and smiled. You could see he was like, "Oh my God, how am I that there are two bowlers? There was a bowler at each end. How on earth am I always getting out to this lad?"
I mean, that is the nuance that I think is lost for our semi-cricket loving people or non-cricket loving people of the dynamic over a 5-match test match series where. And vice versa, equally so with, Smith and the bowlers, that you're running in thinking, I don't actually know how I'm going to get him out. And Broad is running in going, I could probably bowl left-hand spinners and probably still get him out.
I mean, it's true.
Just the pure sight of Stuart Broad.
Yeah, he's got him 6 times.
Okay.
In 8
Question for you. Would David Warner rather see SBW, Sonny Williams, or Stuart Broad?
Yeah, I wonder what's more haunting when he lies in bed at night, the image of Stuart Broad charging in from 22 yards away or SCW
charging in from 22 yards
to throw a ball close to his wife's head.
So, it's just was it Warner that was it Broad that Warner hit years ago? Do you remember? Like slapped him in a bar years ago.
It was Rooty.
Oh yeah, it was Rooty.
Because I think Warner got done for child abuse. But no, it was Rooty. Oh, was it Rooty? No, I think it was Rooty. Yeah, it was Rooty.
I think you're right.
Really early stages, and he slapped him for some reason. But yeah, so look, it's interesting because I was looking at some of the stats, and Australia this is not trying to take anything away from them. They have been by far the better side, apart from a few amazing moments, which have been few and far between, where England have dominated or been in control. Australia have been by far the better side. But when you look at the run scoring in particular, because one of the big issues is that England haven't scored enough runs at any point. Of the top 6 run scorers in the series so far, England have 4 of them,
which is an uncanny stat in terms of, you're right, because the perception is Australia have bowled beautifully, which they have, they
have bowled well.
And you and I were chatting on the weekend about it. The rotation system they've come up with, where they've got 5 seamers and they play 3, and they just rotate them through to keep them fresh and up for it. Whereas Archer, I don't know if you saw the stat of Archer's pace dropping off. Did you see that?
I heard plenty about how he didn't seem as quick.
His first test match at Lords, 25% of his deliveries were 90 mile an hour plus, right? So 1 in 4, which is quick. That's consistently rapid. I think the second test match he played in, I think it went down from 25 to about 16%. So 1 in 8, right?
That's a big drop.
This first innings of this Old Trafford Test match, I think he was down to about 6%.
Really?
So he's just basically, I know he's had the World Cup, but he's basically run out of steam. It's just,
he's run out of steam in 3 matches.
I know.
And with all due respect to the guy, he's young.
They bowled him a lot in the first couple.
Yes,
I suppose they did.
Yes.
To the point of it was almost like panic. Yeah. We just have to bowl Archer.
Yeah, exactly. And weirdly, they didn't bowl Wokes anywhere near as much as I think people expected to. Because it wasn't like Wokes was bowling badly. Just for some reason, Rooty just didn't go to him. I don't know if he was carrying a bit of a niggle, I thought, but nothing serious.
So you mentioned earlier, England have named the same squad team for the Oval. And anyone who listens to the show knows that my prediction quality is poor. at best. You know, but I predicted that Roy would play if they lost the test match.
You did.
Because they've got nothing to lose. It's at the Oval. Play him one more. Let him score 100. As you rightly said, if that happens, he'll then be in the side for the next 6 test matches again.
Yeah, that's my concern, is that actually he's going to go all guns blazing now, and we're going to be stuck with him for another series or 2. He'll go on the overseas tour, and we will continue to struggle. Like, so I was saying this earlier to you, like, Roy, Butler, Bairstow, like Denley and Burns haven't done great stuff, but they haven't been bad. Root has actually struggled a lot, but mainly with his captaincy. He hasn't produced as many runs as he should have done. But yeah, but Roy, Butler, and Bairstow, I don't think have done enough at all. I don't think you can have both Roy and Butler in a team when not one of them is providing. Like, you know, we're meant to have this quite long, aggressive batting sort of middle order, and it just has not delivered at all. Like, Stokesy's been a one-man middle order for far, and it's just not good enough. It's not good enough.
I mean, even Johnny Bairstow, you know, he's been way below par. You know what's going to be the blame, right? It's going to be the hangover from the World Cup. Yeah, maybe, but I mean, look, and I guess all three of those players did well in the World Cup and are now struggling. But Stokesy was a hero from that first match with that amazing catch right up until the final when he did so much to win it. And he seems to have managed to find, you know, the depths to be able to dig in and actually play the Aussie and take the Aussies on. Roy is all over the place. Absolutely all over the place. Roy's a very good cricketer. He just can't block.
Yeah.
He just can't defend the ball.
Butler has had a couple of okay innings. I think when he hung around with Stokesy at Headingley for a while, Bairstow's had a couple of okay knocks, but nothing. You know, you need so many more runs. Like I was saying earlier, like, so of the top 6 run scorers in the series so far, England have 4 of them. But the problem is that England's leading run scorer is Stokes with 354. Steve Smith has scored almost double that on his own.
Yeah, and he missed a test match.
He missed a test. We have just had no one who has put on decent scores. We haven't, you know, our bowlers have never had really anything to bowl at.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
I'm very disappointed.
It is. I mean, it is disappointing. I'm
frustrated because there have been moments when we absolutely could have won the series. Think about, we had 67 for it was us 60. Yeah. We had them 108 for 8. In the first test?
Yeah, and they got to 100. Yeah, so I think
300. Like, we've absolutely had moments where we could have won the first one, or at least dominated that first one and made sure we didn't lose it. We could have won at Lord's, maybe some bad weather. We even in this last one at Old Trafford, we should not have been that far behind. Yeah. No way.
I mean, I suppose the positive is it takes the edge off Friday when we go down to the Oval, which is one of my favourite grounds in the world.
We will be focused.
And we can just enjoy it. We can go and enjoy it. Enjoy the overpriced beer.
Yeah, great.
And a pie, and just enjoy our day out without thinking that the Ashes is on the edge.
Not sure.
And, you know, I think it's been a fantastic summer. I think it was an Ashes too far. I think just to try and do that. But look, it's still been enjoyable. There's been moments, you know, like it. The positive is because of the incredible moments that have happened. It's kept the cricket World Cup fever people who don't overly love cricket still a little bit more engaged, even though we've lost it.
Yes,
or, you know. If we'd lost Headingley, the test match would have been a dead rubber, and we would have lost people. But there were still people chatting today about yesterday of how close that it was starting to get close to hanging on. So,
question for you on the Australians: have the Australians put their sandpaper scandal behind them?
I think Steve Smith has.
Yeah, he seems fine, by the way.
Well, yeah, I mean, he does not look psychologically jaded in any way, shape, or form. If anything, it's angered him to want to bat more.
Yeah.
So I blame Cricket Australia wholeheartedly for fueling that fire.
It's like if we're not fielding, I can't get in trouble for ball tampering. So I'm just going to bat and bat and bat. And what are we about to get out? Are we okay? I'm going to get concussed, so I don't have to field.
Yeah.
But then I am not implicated in anything that bloody.
I will be nowhere near the ball being thrown around in the field. Look, I think you've got to say they have. I mean, they had a decent World Cup.
Yeah, what did they play? They played India, didn't they, at home last winter? I think it was, and I think they had a good series there. Good World Cup. And now they've retained the Ashes.
You've got to give credit to Justin Langer as the coach. You know, he's turned that side. You know, that side was in not good shape in terms of mentally, and obviously what had gone on and the culture and all that. And the elite honesty seems to have worked.
Yeah, I tell you, it annoys me a lot. But the thing is, and we could ramble on about this for a while, but they're not a great side.
No,
they have some. I mean, Steve Smith is an all-time legend. In a way, we're quite lucky to see him play. Cummins is a good bowler.
Oh, I love watching him bowl.
Stark on his day is good, but he doesn't have as many of those days as he should. Hazelwood is a good bowler, but not a great bowler. Siddle's on the way out kind of thing. Lyon.
Pattinson.
Yeah, Pattinson's okay. Lyon has been really good, but his form this series hasn't been great. And their batting, apart from Smith, if he was only averaging 50 and not 135, then actually this could be a very different series. But yeah, no,
if Spats and maybes. So
prediction for the fifth and final test at the Oval.
England like the Oval against Australia. Good memories. I think there'll be a bit of pride on the line. I think the positive is there's going to be 2 or 3 of those England boys who are going to be playing for their place in that test side moving forward.
Very true. Very true.
So I actually think there's going to be a good performance, and I think I don't think Australia will win. I think it'll either be a draw or England win it. So I'm going to go England win. England win.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go England win. There is something to be said, that for not losing the test series. Like losing the Ashes, absolutely, that's awful, and that's what really matters. But there's something about not being beaten at home.
2-2 we'll show some real character and go from there.
Yeah,
I've got a prediction for captaincy. I think they should give it to Rory Burns.
I still hold. I can't remember. Did we talk about this? I'm not sure. I still hold that they just need like a group of captains. That doesn't actually really matter. Just get captaincy off root, off his shoulders, and put him at 4. Let him bat at 4 and play just as a batsman, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Very
what's your prediction for the
I think England will win. I think Rooty might get some runs, and I think Bairstow will get some runs because he's going to be angry. I think someone's going to poke him, like Michael Vaughan's going to poke him on Twitter or something like that.
A chili. You can put a chili. It's a bit spicy. It's a bit spicy.
He's going to slide into Bairstow's DMs and, So
Bairstow doesn't like that. He doesn't like being that.
He does not like that.
We'll have our little wrap up of the whole cricket summer next week because it'll be the final. That will be the close of the summer. Football wise, or do you want to go? No, let's go football, then we'll finish on rugby because we're going to. So football.
Yeah, look, and this is going to be mainly you because all I've seen is the highlights of England pantsing Bulgaria.
Yeah, I mean, interesting stats for the game England Bulgaria. Bulgaria had 8 players over the age of 32.
Really?
So that bodes well for their future.
Yeah.
On the flip side, England had 8 players under the age of 26.
Really?
So that bodes
good.
Extremely well for you're in good shape when Harry Kane's one of the elderlies at 25 or whatever he is. A hat trick for Kane. it was evident that the penalty that Rashford won, he picked it up in his own half near the dugout, and the Bulgarian right back was about 50 yards away and started backpedaling already.
That shows confidence.
and still got turned inside out twice and tripped him. So, I mean, it was, if you ever want the panic of, I've seen this guy, I've played with him on FIFA, I know how quick he is.
Yeah.
And he just started running away basically and just trying to eventually, I mean, ironically, you'd run towards him and rather get beaten on the halfway line than in your own box. But anyway, that was his theory. So, but yeah, I think it was a good performance. England they continue to play well. Mm-hmm. We say this all the time, but 3, 4, 5 years ago, England would have won that game 1-0.
Yeah.
Bland snuck a chance in, or scored a scrappy goal or something, and that would have been all she wrote, and it would have been really, everyone would have walked away from Wembley going, oh great. People have walked away, 4 goals, Raheem Sterling good, Harry Kane hat-trick, he's on his way, we're going to continue to do that. So I think it's worth it. I think it was a good game. I think they played well, and it's points. Yeah. It's points in the qualifier. So yeah, I think all round a decent England performance as per usual at the moment. They're pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, do you know what it is? There is a certain level of expectation now, isn't there?
And so there should be.
That hasn't been around.
Well, and I think they should.
Yeah, no, it is exciting.
We've got.
Yeah, they deserve that. They deserve that.
We've got players that can do it. We've got a squad that is set up properly, and we've got a coach that doesn't think he's bigger than the players, which is good, but he actually treats them properly and they respect him.
That seems to be clear. Is actually, like you say, the players genuinely respect,
and they buy into it. There's always been, Big Sven and all these players, Fabio Capello, all of them who'd come with big reputations, but ultimately the players either dictated the situation or the players didn't want to play for him. This way, Gareth Southgate seems to have bought into this generation. They get him, he gets them, and I think. I hope we've got good 5, 6, 8 years of good English football carrying on, and with the ages we've got, we're in good shape.
Well, that's the thing, we kind of like transition over to rugby, but there's been a lot of talk. What with the Rugby World Cup coming up, there's been a lot of analysis about like what do you need as a rugby team now in terms of number of years playing, number of caps, like caps in certain positions to be, a competitive for the World Cup, for the Rugby World Cup. And they do say like it's not about one World Cup cycle. It's actually 2+. You also almost need 9 years of a squad playing together and building together before you're then actually going to win the Rugby World Cup. And so again, England had a good performance from a football point of view in the last World Cup, but like you say, a lot of those players should still then turn out in is it Qatar next?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that team should still be together in Qatar, and that's going to make them very.
Yeah, I think the Euros next year and Qatar 2022, we've got to fancy ourselves as semi-finalists, both those at least.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If that doesn't happen, it's a disappointment.
So,
it's an underperformance.
Speaking of World Cups, nicely done there. We are weeks away from
less than 2 weeks. So what is it? First game is. Bizarrely, Japan,
Perfect.
Russia.
A classic.
A classic. Friday the 20th, 11:45 a.m. UK time. So, very much looking forward to that.
Well, I mean, they are the giants of Asian and European rugby.
Actually, it should be an absolute trial.
Oh, you'd hope. Or it's going to be like or Japan are going to be really, really panicky and just be like a 12-9. Yeah.
Well, do you know what? So, There's a rugby YouTube guy called Squidge Rugby, and if you haven't seen any of his videos, I would highly recommend checking out Squidge Rugby on YouTube. Fantastic analysis and really funny as well. But he just did a video about Japan, and they have done something very, very interesting in the lead up to their World Cup. So the coach of Japan who took over after Eddie Jones, I think it was, he made a decision, I think it was like November, December last year or something like that. He took over as coach of the Sunwolves A side. So there's the Sunwolves that play at Super Rugby level, and there's no actual feeder competition into that level. He then took over the Sunwolves A and created the Sunwolves A. And what he did is he then went and signed as many of what he thought was going to be his Japan squad to the Sunwolves A. But they don't play any games, except unless they arrange specific fixtures. There's no league or competition that they play in because there's no official feeder system into the Sunwolves or into Super Rugby. So he's then had for like 11 months pretty much his preferred World Cup squad, apart from like 2 players who play overseas. He's had like his entire squad in training together day in, day out. And then every now and again, when he thinks they need a bit of a hit out, he'll organise a fixture and they'll go and play some other club side or in another nation or something like
Interesting.
that. And then sometimes if he wants to give him a bit more game time against some of the best, he'll promote one of them up to, or a few of them up to the Sunwolves side to play in the Super Rugby, but then bring them back down. So, whereas like the Jaguares and Puma players are absolutely knackered because they've been playing week in, week out Super Rugby and then Pumas. The Japan side are just humming along nicely.
We will see how that pans out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that didn't work out on Saturday because they got pumped by the Box.
And some revenge for Brighton 2015.
Mate, absolutely.
The good thing is that, we had a good hat-trick from our winger, Mazik, Mabimpi. And then, we just actually, the biggest positive is there was no injuries.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Now at this stage,
so
with these final
bar something
so close to the World
freakishly
Cup.
wrong, in terms of some uneven ground or someone getting something weird in training, we should be fully fit for our opener against New Zealand in Yokohama on Saturday, the 21st of September.
That is surely, even for like England fans like us, that is the game.
It's a big one. It is a big one.
That is exciting. But we'll do like a proper World Cup episode next week. But the final warm-up games are all pretty fine. England beat Italy quite nicely. I totally forgot it was actually on.
It was an England shutout.
Which is good. That is actually you don't celebrate beating Italy, but you do celebrate not conceding a single point. Mainly from the discipline point of view. Like England's discipline has always been a bit of an issue over the last couple of years, so that's good. Wallabies beat Samoa. Samoa actually put up quite a good fight. They came back, and then the Wallabies managed to get a late try to make the score look a little bit respectable. And the All Blacks and Tonga.
It was close, wasn't it? Close game.
It was close, mate. It was close. I think Tonga scored their try in the 79th minute. So at one point it was 92-0, which is a bit schoolboy. In fact, even at schoolboy level, I don't think I've ever played in a game that one-sided. But yeah, so the All Blacks are, I don't know if they learned anything from that at all. And again, I don't think they picked up any injuries, so that'd be the main thing.
Yeah, so.
But it does actually, sorry, on that, it does raise the interesting point about like the state of rugby for the Pacific nations. Because they are going through a very tough time. And I think Steve Hansen came out after the game against Tonga and said that World Rugby should be, this isn't a direct quote, but basically said World Rugby should be ashamed that they let the Six Nations boss them around when it came to the idea of setting up that World League. Because he said the World League would have helped the Pacific nations so much. And now,
although it's easy to say that when they've pillaged all the good Pacific Islanders to play for New Zealand.
Yeah,
maybe give them back. I don't know. That was just. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's a bizarre statement. You guys have ruined it.
Yeah.
But we've got some of them playing for us. But you guys have ruined it. So
yeah, it's all your fault.
Let's not create a blame culture.
Yeah. Actually, again, I mean, not wanting to blow Squid Rugby's trumpet too much, but he's done another really good video on Samoan rugby, like what has happened to Samoan rugby, like some of the quite sad and dodgy dealings that have been going on behind the scenes that have totally shafted the players and the game in that country. Like I think the president of the country or prime minister of the country has made himself head of the RFU, also taken all the money. They've taken money from like a Chinese investment firm or something like that, and that's ended up in his back pocket as well. Like it's really sad, really sad.
I mean, it's actually, for all our rugby fans who do listen, Squid Rugby is well worth a peek.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, if we're giving shout outs,
I mean, it's a good one.
Squidge. And then there's also the 10-14 boys as well. 10-14 rugby. There's an Irishman and a Kiwi, and they're based down in New Zealand. They do some proper in-depth analysis. Like if you like stats, rugby stats, you will love 10-14. It is bloody brilliant.
Yeah, it's well worth a look. So, but I think we should wrap it up there.
Orgasm.
We've got a busy week ahead.
Yes, mate. Yeah.
A great
week. 4 days work in 5 days work in 4 days.
And then we've got 3 days left in the week. Cricket, wrap up the summer, 1 year anniversary. This time next week.
Oh. Should we start Friday then with some champagne to toast the?
I think it's only appropriate. I think many people either wish we'd stopped or thought we would stop by now. So I'm very proud to be heading into that anniversary next week.
Absolutely. So on that note, thank you very much to everyone for listening. Hit us up on social media. If you are going to be at the game on Friday, then let us know. Yeah. We'd love to meet up with you and have a beer. And mate, have a good week. And I'll see you later.
Go well.
Take care, buddy.